Hi guys, it's Mr. Reddy here with you for another outdoor learning, remote learning lesson. Today, guys, we are going to be talking about habitats, and we're gonna have a little go at making a habitat of our own. Now, I'm gonna start today's lesson with asking you guys a couple of questions. Please pause the video and share your answer with a parent or your brother and sister who may be working with you, or if you're on your own, have a little think and answer these questions with yourself. What is a habitat? A habitat is a place where an animal lives, and it provides the animal with everything it needs to survive. What does a habitat need? In order for your animal to survive in its habitat, it of course is going to need plenty of food. Food can come in the form of plants, fruits, berries, or if it is a carnivore, a meat eater, it needs to have other insects or other animals to eat. Your habitat also needs to have water. Why? Because all living things, from plants to humans to all the animals and insects, need water to survive. Of course, as well as this, our habitat needs to provide oxygen, needs to provide air for the animals to breathe. And what makes our habitats extra special for all our animals is that our habitats also provide shelter for them to be safe in their habitat. Okay guys, and now we are going to get on to the fun part of the lesson. That is the making, the building part of our activity. Next to me, I have started building a habitat. Any ideas as to what this habitat could be? If you thought it was a desert habitat, you'd be absolutely correct. I have managed to find myself sand and some other little bits from outdoor learning, and I've placed them inside of this big container. Now this container, as I said, is very big. I wouldn't expect you guys to be using something this big in your activity. I'm just doing it for the purpose of my video. If you wanted to use something smaller, like a tray or a shoebox or a little container, that would be absolutely perfect for you guys to do this at home. Now I've started by adding sand. I'm having a desert landscape, of course I'm going to need sand. Now some deserts are just sand, but I wanted to try and make a little bit of a different desert habitat. I was thinking about a desert habitat which maybe would be closer to, say, Fujairah, or if I was driving out towards Iraq or into the mountains towards Hatta as well. I mentioned mountains. How could I maybe make mountains in my habitat? Well, I've got myself some big rocks and I'm going to add them to my tray, and here we go. I'm imagining these to be big mountains, just like the ones out towards Hatta. Now, what did we say our habitat needs? A habitat needs to provide animals with food. The main source of food out in the desert might come from plants, from bushes. So I had a little look and I thought these would be perfect to be little trees which I could place in my desert. There you go. Put one in by here. Okay, and I'll pop another one in by here. Try to find somewhere. One more. There we go. Now you might think to yourself, Mr. Reddy, deserts don't have trees. Well, I would say to you, next time that you're out in your car, have a look out the window. I've noticed that actually there is quite a lot of trees out in the deserts around us. And these trees might not be close together like in a forest. They're a little bit spread out. But these trees are so important because they provide food for the animals, and they also provide shelter from the sun. Right now, I'm underneath the shade of a tree, and it's keeping me nice and cool. All the animals that live around the tree are also going to be nice and cool as well. Now, I also found this and I thought it was quite a cool little shape. It's some of the bark of a tree, and I thought this could be a cave. So I'm going to pop this into my corner, my very own cave. Who knows what type of animal might live inside that cave? Now, we mentioned earlier that we needed food for our shelters. What is the other thing that we said all habitats must provide? Do you remember? It was, of course, water. Now, at the moment, I don't have any water in my shelter, but I thought maybe I could see if I could pour some to make a river. As you can see, it's all been absorbed into the sand. That's okay, I can't really make my river, so I thought, let's get creative. And I'm going to make a little pond, okay? Imagine this to be maybe something like a wadi, or like the oases that you see in some of the films. And I'm just going to fill this up with a little bit of water, and maybe I thought I could put some stones and some rocks around it so it doesn't look like a bowl, and maybe more natural looking, like how it might be in real life. Boys and girls, your job today is to have a go at making a desert habitat. You can do it in a small container, not one like this, it's far too big. Try thinking the resources that you will need to make your desert habitat. And also, when you're making your desert habitat and you're making your video, I want you to think of the answers to these questions.
What is a habitat? What does a habitat need? What animal would live in your habitat?
Okay guys, and that is your task. Your job is to make a desert habitat out of materials that you can find in your local area or your house. And then when you're making your habitat, maybe you can have a go at answering those questions which I just asked you then. Once you've made your video, guys, upload it to Seesaw for us to mark. Have lots of fun, and I cannot wait to see what you guys come up with. Good luck and enjoy.